Welcome to City News at 6. I'm Nima Rajan. We begin with breaking news tonight. U.S. President Donald Trump says he'll slap a 35% tariff on all Canadian exports to the U.S. come August 1st. Now, this is the latest escalation in Trump's trade war. Welcome to City News at 6. I'm Nima Rajan. We begin with breaking news tonight. Tactical evacuations of approximately 400 properties are underway. It comes after a wildfire started burning out of control between West Kelowna and Beachland. We begin tonight with a shocking series of incidents in Maple Ridge that resulted in the deaths of 3 people Wednesday night. And all of this is in relation to a dispute between neighbors. Welcome back to our special election night coverage here on City News Vancouver. I'm your host, Nima Rajan, and we just wrapped up our cross-country coverage with our Toronto team, but we'll be live with you here as the final results start trickling in. Turning first to our panel, and I believe one of the biggest story arcs tonight is the resurrection of the Liberal Party. Now, Ken, you played an important role. Welcome to City News at 6. I'm Nima Rajan, and it looks like some bad news for travelers using Air Canada tonight. The airline says it will gradually wind down operations over the next couple of days ahead of a full shutdown by Saturday. Now, this if a deal with flight attendants isn't reached before their scheduled strike. Our Angelina Ravelli is over at Vancouver International Airport for us tonight. So, Angelina, are we starting to see any flights being canceled? Vancouver police have made an arrest in the stabbing death of a 15-year-old boy near Robson Square on Saturday night. Our Joe Sadowski is in downtown Vancouver for us, near where the stabbing took place. Joe, what can you tell us about the suspect?
So just take that in for a moment. 329 people died in this attack. But the terrorists had planned for that number to be double. And the only thing that saved the individuals on Air India Flight 301 was a simple mistake. Across this 2-part special investigation, our team will travel by land, air, and sea to provide you with a full-scale picture of what the big one could look like.
Let's go.
Let's go. And how it may impact Vancouver and surrounding areas. Carlos, we're walking in Gastown right now, the oldest commercial district in Vancouver, and you can really see that in the infrastructure. We've got cobblestone-lined streets, historic buildings, but if we take into consideration all that history, Carlos, how would an area such as this fare in a magnitude 9 earthquake? It's a race against the clock. I'm at Parley Place, about 300 meters from the safety point. All right, so I just made it to higher ground, the closest elevation point from Chesterman's Beach, but did we make it on time? Unfortunately not. I'm sure there's a lot of anger within a lot of people within Indigenous communities due to the residential school system. What happens after experiencing this? What happens to the community? Well, what do we know about the suspects? Well, there's first Inderjeet Singh Rayat, a Duncan, BC man, and in fact, he was the only one out of the 4 suspects who actually got convicted. In 2003, he pleaded guilty, being sentenced to 30 years in prison, eventually serving about 26. The next suspect, Talwinder Singh Parmar. BC's health ministry is limiting the sales of 2 more diabetes drugs. Sales regulations have been placed on tirzepatide and dulaglutide. It comes following a 2023 move that limited the sale of semaglutide, marketed as Ozempic.
And a lot can happen tonight.
All right, wait, and I see you, Sven. I feel like you're holding something back here. Do you have something to add?
Well, yeah, what a roller coaster.
And to add to that, we know pride in and of itself is a form of advocacy for inclusion and acceptance. We know Canadians do have that right to protest, Andrew. So is there a place or way for all perspectives to respectfully be present at Pride? The dispute between Canada's largest airline and the union representing thousands of its flight attendants is coming to a conclusion with a tentative agreement reached between both the sides. Now, meantime, travelers using the airline have already been significantly impacted by the job action, which began over the weekend. Some were stranded at airports, some needing to find new accommodations or new flights amid the dispute. So what are some of the rights that travelers impacted by this job action should know about? Joining us now to give us his advice is passenger rights expert Gabor Lukács. Gabor, thanks again for your time today. Well, the Vancouver Whitecaps made it official today, announcing that they have signed German superstar Thomas Müller, one of the biggest signings in Vancouver sports history. We've got our Joe Sadowski down at BC Place for us tonight. Joe, what have you been hearing from fans?
Nima.
All right, thanks for that, Joe. All right, a bit of a shift in tone now, as it's been just over 3 months since the Lapu Lapu Day Festival car ramming attack that left 11 people dead and dozens more injured. And the healing process has only just begun for some. At least 89 people are dead following a series of devastating floods in central Texas. 27 campers and counselors at an all-girls summer camp are among the growing list of victims. Maribel Gonzalez is on the ground tonight in Texas, where crews are preparing for potentially even more rain. The issue of domestic violence is once again in the spotlight. It comes after 3 women in BC were killed in the span of 1 week due to intimate partner violence. And as our Cecilia Hua reports tonight, advocates and MLAs are calling for change. Well, the Vancouver Pride Festival is coming back to Davie Village this year, but it comes amid quite a few challenges, including funding shortfalls, economic uncertainty, anti-inclusion and diversity efforts in the U.S., and more. Nonetheless, this year's Pride Festival will be going ahead. And to tell us all about this, we are joined by Miss Morgan Auger, the Secretary of the Vancouver Pride Society. Ma'am, thank you for your time today. Welcome to City News at 6. I'm Nima Rajan, and it's the outcome that everyone was hoping for. The 3 workers who were trapped for more than 60 hours in the Red Chris mine in northern BC were reunited with their families on Friday morning following a successful rescue operation. Monica Gould has the details. Well, they say you should never judge a book by its cover, and as it turns out, you should never judge a fish by its face either. 12 years ago, the blobfish was named the world's ugliest animal, but now it's been honored as the fish of the year in New Zealand. It's where the CEO of the tech company Astronomer was caught on the kiss cam snuggling with a woman who is allegedly the company's VP of HR. And by the way, the company now says they're investigating the incident. This while the Penthouse is once again weighing in on the latest viral moment, much to the delight of its fans on social media. Well, at least HR is well aware of the issue. You know, Vancouver's news is always available with City News 24/7, now streaming on Rogers Xfinity Channel 100 and Amazon Prime.